Let's bring in Newsweek journalist Batya Ungar-Sargon, who joins us from New York. Now, police have identified the shooter. Can you tell us, what do we know about the person responsible for this assassination attempt?
You know, we know very little. We know he's about 20 years old. We know that he's a resident of Pennsylvania. We know that he's a registered Republican, although the only political donation he ever made was on January 2021, which he made to Act Blue. So he seems still to be a little bit of a cipher at this moment. Obviously, a person who could take an action like this has to be deeply, deeply disturbed. But I'm interested to see what more we can learn about this person. He seems to have no social media accounts, which is also very, very weird for a 21-year-old in 2024.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does seem very weird, and I guess in the next few days we'll find out more about this individual. But look, Batya, Donald Trump was due to announce his vice president in the next few days at the Republican convention. How does this attempted assassination impact that convention now?
Obviously, all eyes are on this story now. If the last 3 weeks, all we've talked about is Joe Biden, right now we're really going to be talking about Donald Trump for a long time, especially his fortitude. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but right after being shot and almost killed, he stood up and gave a fist pump and said, "Fight, fight, fight." His first thought was on his followers. And he has made the case again and again that, he's not the real target of the left here. He's just standing in the way. The real target is the American working class and the American people. And you really saw how even in this moment where his life was under threat, he was thinking about his followers. And I think that that's probably going to be the through line that he's going to bring with him, that energy, that defiant energy of "I stand for the people," which he's going to bring to Milwaukee next week.
Speaking of Trump's reaction in the moments after he was shot, and as you said, he got to his feet, he raised his fist, he said, "Fight, fight, fight." I don't know if you saw, but CNN actually criticised his reaction, saying that was entirely the wrong thing to do, and all it did was to incite his supporters. He should instead have tried to calm things down. I mean, how do you respond to CNN with those sorts of comments, even in the moments after Trump was shot?
I gotta say, present company excluded, James and Danica, we don't hate the media enough, certainly in America. However much we hate the media, we do not hate them enough. There has been so much of that already. Both sidesing of this, the reaction from mainstream media, from CNN, from MSNBC, the headlines, which are trying to both sides an attempted assassination of Donald Trump because they cannot bear to allow their audiences to know that he has become a martyr thanks to them. It's really, really horrifying. And I would expect for more and more of this to come out. There were so many headlines that refused to even call it an assassination attempt. As you guys were pointing out 10 minutes ago, mostly peaceful assassination attempt. There's going to be a lot more of this. The media always in moments like this ends up with egg on its face because it is so deeply partisan in America at this point in favor of the Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, just CNN saying that he fell. I mean, that's just beyond comprehension, isn't it? I just want to go back to the upcoming Republican convention because Donald Trump was meant to also make an appearance where he will be officially declared as the candidate. Do you still expect that he will attend, and how big of a major moment will that actually be?
I'm sure he's really looking forward to that moment. He's going to be greeted as a real hero, which he is. It was already set to be something of a coronation. I think that will be even more so. Honestly, I think that he probably will not want the focus to be on who he declares as the VP. He's a person who enjoys the attention, but he's certainly earned it in this moment. And I think everybody's going to be looking to him to see that strength and that defiance, him getting right back up after something so terrifying. and trying to unite the country as he has been. It's really amazing. I don't know if this has come across where you are, but so much of his political rhetoric recently has been around a unifying message. He has been telling Black and Hispanic and Asian and Jewish voters, I will be your president. I want to bring the country together as part of the GOP platform that he obviously had a big hand in writing. Unite the country around our success was the last item there. And I bet that language, or I hope at least that language is going to be front and center as he tries to make the most of this moment.
We spoke at the top of the show about how incredible it was that a shooter was able to get that close to Trump without being noticed by the Secret Service. There's got to now be questions over the security arrangements that allowed this to take place, surely.
Yeah, definitely. This will not help allay fears of many people that many of our institutions, including the deep state and the security services, have become, somehow politicized. Honestly, I have to say, when the options are extreme incompetence or extreme evil, often extreme incompetence is the reason that something has happened. And I wonder if that's what's going to end up coming out in this situation. But of course, it doesn't look good. It does not allay fears. It does not make people feel better about the treatment that President Trump has always gotten from the deep state and people in these apparatuses.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a worry, and no doubt now there will have to be a full and comprehensive investigation into exactly what went wrong here. We asked our previous guest this, and I want to ask you the same thing. What happens now for Joe Biden's campaign? Where does this leave him?
Honestly, Danica, they're pulling ads in Pennsylvania, which on the one hand, okay, classy move. But on the other hand, one wonders what was in those ads that makes Joe Biden think that he doesn't want anybody to see them right now. Was it perhaps incitement to violence or something that could be interpreted in that way? It's really going to be hard for him now to campaign because the case they have been making to the American people is that it is Joe Biden, perhaps an elderly man, against the greatest threat to American democracy we have ever faced. Right? And you cannot make that argument when somebody has almost been killed for the crime of trying to represent the American working class, for the crime of trying to run in a presidential election. Clearly, political violence assassination is a greater threat than anything Donald Trump has up his sleeve. And so the whole messaging is going to have to change. And the problem is, guys, they don't have very much more on the Democratic side to run on.
No, clearly it's running out of steam. Batya Ungar-Sargon, great to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time on the show this evening.